Epstein didn't kill himself. Hi! Welcome to Be Honest. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna drop a fat fucking load. Oh, man, I'm gonna drop a fat fucking load. Fuck. Drop a fucking fat load. Oh, fuck, I dropped it. Wow. Drop my fucking load. Drop my fucking load like always. Just a fucking chump. Huh. How? You calling me? Hello?
Hey. I just had a vision.
Like, drug-induced, or...
It doesn't matter how, but I think I just saw us making an episode that people wanted to watch.
That sounds like a dream, for sure.
Yeah, so I think we should watch Parasite and review it.
Wait, which one's Parasite again?
It's that Korean film about the family.
Oh, yeah. Fuck it, alright. Yeah, we gotta watch this Mandalorian bullshit first, but, we could do an episode on that next time.
Oh, okay. Cool. Great. Can't wait to watch that.
You fucking love Star Wars.
I love Disney.
You're right. Well, alright, well, if you guys want to roll over, we'll do the thing tonight, and then we'll do the other thing.
Cool. I'm just gonna go for round 2.
What?
Round 2. Oh, I'll see you tonight.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye.
Alright. Let's do this.
With Imperial connections, who demands he travel to the desert planet Arvalon 7.
Arvalon.
No, there's no N there.
Arvala?
It's like Arbala, yeah.
Arvala?
Arvala 7. And find a 50-year-old target.
Like the department store?
While the client is indifferent to the target's well-being, his colleague Dr. Pershing insists the target be brought back alive. The Mandalorian receives a bar of Beskar steel as a down payment, which he brings to an armorer and has crafted into a piece of armor. Traveling to a blah 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 planet, a vapor farmer named Quill saves him.
Is that Nick
from
Nolte?
two Blurg.
No, that's Nick Kroll. This is the first episode?
Words, yeah. However, the previous bounty hunters who attempted to travel there died. Upon reaching the location, the Mandalorian reluctantly teams up with the bounty hunter droid IG-11 to clear the facility and find the bounty, which is an infant belonging to the same species as Yoda. When IG-11 attempts to terminate...
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you get up. I just wanted to see that sweet ass as you...
The last episode in the series is actually directed by Taika Waititi.
Oh, really? So they have it all in the can then? It's all filmed.
Done. It's definitely done.
They're just piecemealing it out, which is kind of like... It's a unique strategy as far as streaming services are concerned, because they usually just do like the whole season dump.
So the season finale, guess what? It comes out
December
a couple
27th.
days after the
Christmas?
trilogy.
Oh,
ending.
the end of the trilogy.
So you have ultimate Star Wars hype time.
Wow. Perfect. This leads up. This will feed my intense Star Wars hunger leading up to the return of the last Jedi Order.
No. This is the Rise of Skywalker.
Why does Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker and his lightsaber.
What?
Shit.
Are we filming right now?
Yeah. Hi. Hello. I've been mocked recently for the way that I start episodes. Welcome to Be Honest.
You're doing okay.
I'm Addison.
Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Lightsaber. Thanks for coming to the show, Lightsaber.
Just took a vacation.
Yeah, we're glad you're back.
Thanks,
we're glad you're back. It seemed a little tenuous there for a while as far as whether we would ever see you again.
No, I had a nice time. Got to see some nice beaches.
Yeah. It's not like we pay you a ridiculous amount of money from the podcast trust.
Handsome, yeah.
Handsome sum, I'd say.
Handsome sum out of the podcast trust.
I don't
the
see
pod trust.
any of that money. So,
you see it.
and trust me, I'm a frugal spender. I know how much I get.
Well, some people are never satisfied, am I right? So we watched The Mandalorian.
But we didn't just watch The Mandalorian. We also watched The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
We did. Wow. Wow.
My name is Jeff Goldblum. The name of the show is The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
On the Disney Plus app.
Yes.
The brand new boy.
Yay, Disney Plus is out, everyone. Woo! Dance party. Jackson dance party. Plus. Disney Plus. Yeah. Give me to the plus. Give me to the plus.
Incredible Disney things
Take my money. Take my money.
So
yes.
The newest streaming
Yes,
service.
Disney.
Yeah, the newest streaming service amongst like ABC,
NBC,
NBC,
ABS.
Apple TV, just everyone has a fucking streaming service now. Disney has thrown their hat in the ring, and as they own pretty much everything, it makes them a strong contender in the streaming service race.
Well, now you know why like Netflix was just dumping money into new content,
Right?
Because they saw this coming.
Yes, I mean they were pioneers. Netflix, they were pioneers. They definitely had some missteps.
Yeah.
I'd like to address just a couple of things. So Disney Plus did have kind of a troubled launch on Tuesday when it was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Like,
Were you like refreshing? Like
people weren't able to connect. They weren't able to create new accounts.
Yeah.
And of course they were up in arms about it because they're like, I have to see this Lady and the Tramp live action
yeah,
remake.
you're probably like pressing the Frozen link over and over.
I
again.
was over and over again. It was actually, to be fair,
Frozen 2 is about to come out. You need to see it.
it was Wreck-It Ralph.
Was it?
It
Okay.
was. But no, I was frantic.
John C. Reilly, man.
I thought, am I not going to be able to see the Lady and the Tramp remake? Am I not going to be able to see The Mandalorian? Am I not going to be able to see The World According to Jeff Goldblum? Am I not going to be able to see the show that features the fork from Toy Story 4? I mean,
New content.
this is hot stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah, what if somebody saw it before you and then you didn't see it before them?
Exactly.
They would know when you talked about it at the office. They'd be like, "Oh, did you see
No, I didn't see it
the
yet.
world? The World is Green with the starring Forky from Toy Story 4 key."
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. So it was not without its issues at launch, and now it's here. In my opinion, it's reasonably underwhelming as far as the content that they have on offer. There's a couple
But
of
have you seen that price tag?
$6.99, baby, and then $12.99 if you want Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus.
It has all the games except that one game you're looking for.
It's competitively priced, which is what Disney
soundbite.
Plus has going for it. I mean, you look at a Netflix subscription now, which is what, like $14.99?
For like the HD multiple screen setup. Show.
Yeah, so you can watch like fucking Peaky Blinders or something stupid like, or Stranger Things. I mean, Netflix does not have a strong original content game right now at this moment.
Okay, anyway, what were we talking about?
We love Disney. Disney is our favorite platform, and we're really excited to see the launch of Disney Plus, host of our favorites such as Star Wars The Mandalorian, The World According to Jeff Goldblum, Lady and the Tramp. All of these amazing and more pieces of amazing art are coming to us, and we're going to be talking about them in each episode of To Be Honest. Stay tuned.
Okay. So any fucking ways. So Netflix, is overpriced at this point, with Disney coming in at that low price of $13.99 for the Hulu, the Disney Plus, and the ESPN Plus. And Netflix also hasn't garnered any... Get that itch out.
I got it. Thank you.
Cool. I wasn't making that face about you, by the way. I just lost my train of thought because I'm so fucking flustered right now.
Netflix hasn't garnered any sort of...
Netflix has not garnered any favor because they are fucking pussies. So Hassan Minhaj had an episode about Saudi Arabia.
Hassan Minhaj, but sure, go ahead.
What did I say?
Hassan Minhaj.
So it's Hassan Minhaj?
Hassan Minhaj.
Okay. Apologies.
I got you. Come on our show sometime.
My bad.
We love the internet.
I feel so fucking attacked right now.
Jackson's on Twitter all the time, so come on our show. We'll talk.
Wait, how is our viewer count on the Parasite review going down?
That's because of this shit right now.
They know what we're doing.
So,
you're talking about the episode about
the Patriot
Netflix?
Act on Netflix had an episode that was critical of Saudi Arabia, and Netflix pulled it from the Saudi Arabian market. And the head of Netflix said that we aren't in the speaking to power business. We are in the entertainment business.
Right.
Okay.
Which is basically saying, hey, if you have enough money, we will gladly acquiesce to whatever crazy fucking demands that you have. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that's kind of bullshit. And I lost a lot of faith in Netflix as a result. Thankfully, Disney is...
Disney's revamping, and they're creating bold... striking new content that is challenging all of our perceptions and all of our realities about what we think about race, gender, sexuality, and socioeconomic classes. We really are becoming much more diverse in our views of the world because of Disney Plus.
Thank you. Well said.
I do want to talk
said.
about Netflix has been canceling shows like crazy that have been long-standing.
Like what?
BoJack Horseman is the newest example. But they're doing it in favor of newer shows. They just want new seasons. They don't want necessarily shows that have had garnered a following, however niche or kind of culty it might be. They've been favoring new shows so that they can promote this is new, check this out, become a fan of something new. You guys are kind of following something that hasn't been seen before. We have new original content, and we're constantly putting out these new shows. But at the same time, they're canceling shows that have been going on. Love, which is a show that got really popular.
That was the Judd Apatow produced one,
Judd Apatow
right?
that did really well. There's Love Sick, which is a British show that went from Channel 4 or Film 4 or whatever that British production, and it came to Netflix, did really well, and then they canceled it. They did a couple of their things that had a following that weren't super huge, but were a reason that people were keeping the Netflix subscriptions or whatever, and then they cancel those because they want to bring in new things. Which is another example of being afraid of having a following and catering to that in a way by keeping that content as opposed to trying to just get as many people to subscribe.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem with Netflix right now.
That's fair. The reason I brought up the whole Patriot Act thing is because John Oliver recently had a brilliant fucking episode. It's his second to last episode for the season, where he talks about this guy Bob Murray, who is a part of this big coal company. 2 years ago they did a critical piece on him, and he hit them with what's called a SLAPP lawsuit.
Slap suit,
which Josh is going to go ahead and show right here what that acronym stands for.
Sucking little ass pee-pees.
But basically what it means is you can sue someone for saying something that might hurt your feelings, is sort of the basis of it. Anyways, 2 years later, they got the lawsuit thrown out, and John Oliver like did this incredible song and dance number saying "Eat shit, Bob," basically throwing it in this guy's face. The point being, though, that HBO stood behind John Oliver all the way through this whole lawsuit, everything, and he spoke truth to power. They have, what did he say? The lawsuit cost him $200,000. Their liability insurance or libel, it was huge. So
Their premium.
Yeah, their premium. So there's like this weird. We're in kind of a weird nebulous area right now as far as streaming services are concerned. In terms of like, right now what we're dealing with is just cable with more steps, as one of the Rick and Morty memes has kind of put it. Yeah, there's like there's like a Rick and Morty episode where they like go into the smaller and smaller and shrinking words, and like that just sounds like slavery with more steps. And now we have all these streaming services, and it's just cable with more steps.
Well, there's a viral tweet that got sent around where it's this girl who listed all the different streaming services and was just like, I spend $90 a month. Like, how am I saving money from cable? Which, like, the obvious point is, like, it's a la carte. Like, if you're spending $90 on streaming services, you're just stupid. Like, you're not using all of those.
No.
But I could see, like, somebody who, just, like, doesn't pay attention to what they're, subscribing to, ending up in that situation.
There's a thing now, too. I pay for NBA League Pass, which is just streaming basketball.
That's kind of like a cable thing, though, isn't it?
Well, it's three different things. There's League Pass, which is the idea, I guess, when I originally had League Pass when I was like in high school, it had every game every night. So you would be able to go through your directory on like DirecTV or whatever and just pick a game that's going on right now. You don't have to worry about where you're at, what time it is. As long as it's playing, it's live, you can watch it. Mm-hmm. And then as things go on, as in 2019, I'm paying $200 for a year to watch all these games, but I can't watch national TV games. And I can't watch another channel, which is NBA TV, which isn't national. You have to pay for that package on, like, if you bought, like, DirecTV or whatever. So I have to pay for an extra expansion to get that access. But I can't watch certain games in certain locations. Basketball. That's where they shoot the hoop.
And the ball go in the hole. And then the guy, he get the ball and he take the ball down to the other court and...
Scoo. They call it a scoo.
A scoo. I like that.
So, like, for example, we're in Denver. I can't watch Mavericks games even if it's local, even if it's against the Nuggets.
Still going on.
I'm explaining the problem that I'm paying $200 for.
$200 a month?
For a year. Oh. For 4 or 5 months, or however long the season is.
So you're paying for, like, 3 different services.
Paying for 3 different services, and then I'm excluded from a service. So I'd have to have my own TV service to watch certain games. And then some of those games aren't accessible through either Xfinity or DirecTV. Depends on which game, if it's ESPN or ABC or TNT. So there's these different avenues to navigate.
The NBA is bullshit, too, because they acquiesce to fucking China.
Okay, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about TV.
Then you have to get the China subscription to
once China gets involved, they take over the NBA. Honestly, it'd probably be a lot easier in China if you just watch the one game, which is not LeBron. As long as LeBron James isn't playing, you can watch any game.
Well, let me pose this question to you. What if there was a space cowboy you could hire to just go shoot the Chinese government?
Hey, now that sounds all right.
Well, let me tell you about a show I just watched called The Mandalorian.
What?
The Mandarin Lorian.
You're probably wondering how I got here. Because I made bad decisions in my life. What is this Mandalorian? Tell us about it. Give us a brief.
Have you ever heard of a little thing called
Star Wars?
What? Get out.
Well,
is this a Star Wars TV show?
It's a Star Wars story.
Ha! No way.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like not Star Wars, but it is like in the universe?
Well, let me tell you a story. George Lucas sold his child to the white slavers.
Oh, you mean Disney?
That's right.
Okay.
You
yeah.
mean he meant Disney, but he said white slavers. And now
Right.
they're
I
like,
I
honestly,
thought everyone referred to Disney
I
that
thought
way.
when you said white sabers, I was like, you mean Disney, because that's the professional term.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how they like to be known to children because it's easy to understand that they're.
But
the white
adults
slavers.
understand they're
Yeah.
white slavers.
And then they're like, hey, we have complete rights to this amazing, cash cow. And so at first they were just like hitting the button over and over again. And they realized, oh shit, like things are going downhill really fast with the Solo story bombing. And we have to figure out the right pace for this stuff. And so they have this streaming service debuting. It's like, hey, now's the time to release some content. Put the bait in the water for those nerds who are going to just spend money and just throw money at us.
Stupid nerds.
Are you suggesting that Disney has taken a somewhat cynical approach to its ownership of the Star Wars license?
I'm saying they've taken a very calculated approach.
What's the difference
Calculation.
between calculated and cynical?
The lack of creativity.
I think we're being a little bit cynical right now.
Oh, okay.
I would like
okay.
to actually offer up my praise for this show because we actually did watch it. We sat down and we took our own time to peruse the Disney Plus app and then also watch some bullshit Jeff Goldblum talk about shoes with black people.
Which was unfathomably boring.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, let's just for a second.
I was blown away by how bad that show actually is. Like,
it's supposed to be like a world traveling show. Like I can see the conceit of it being like
Yeah,
Jeff Goldblum goes places and like interesting things happen because he kind of uncovers the secrets of like the wherever neighborhood he's in. But really, it's just like a
I think that's
commercial.
an interesting point you just made, where it's just like it seems like these streaming services have to have. Oh, you have this show. Oh, you have your world traveling show where this guy's exploring this certain topic. Where I'm interested to see, like, is Disney gonna have maybe a kind of late night comedy show that they're gonna come out with? You don't
Chris
think so?
Hardwick's gonna come on.
They have specifically said that they're going to keep Disney Plus family friendly. Now, that doesn't mean that they couldn't maybe do something on Hulu now that they own that.
They own Fox too. Maybe there's gonna be a Fox Plus that's exclusively like late night porn.
Well, no, Disney.
Wait, when is that coming out?
Drops in 45 seconds.
I gotta go. Wrap it up.
Podcast over. So no, Disney Plus actually has some Fox content on it. It has all of The Simpsons. Every season of The Simpsons is
That's
on
not
it.
family friendly.
Well,
Friendly?
It is.
It's cable friendly.
I mean,
apparently.
compared to like
Or not cable,
Family
but it's-
Guy, which is like homophobic, racist jokes. At least The Simpsons was
just
know,
racist. Just
racist with the poo and all of that. But there's actually some controversy around that as well because they have converted The Simpsons from the typical or original 4:3 ratio to like a widescreen, and it's cutting off some of the incredible visual gags, which people were like tweeting about and shit. The point is that Disney Plus has not had a super easy road to get where it is. And
It's already up to 10 million subscribers, though.
well, yeah, because you have Marvel and you have Star Wars, you have all of these things that
Superheroes.
They took all the Marvel off Netflix, right?
no, actually,
It's
there's
not off
still
yet?
there's
I think
still
they're
Marvel
just going to
on
let
Prime
those
and
contracts
Netflix.
expire, though.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But let's talk about Jeff Goldblum and the main conceit
Okay.
of it, which is having a show where it's like a really loose understanding of like what content is and what like we got to have this kind of thing and we got to fit these needs without understanding what people want, rather than just seeing like this is how these different channels operate. So we're gonna become our own channel. And we're gonna have our own content, and we're gonna have this kind of show and this kind of show and this kind of show. And then we're going to have our original content like Netflix, so we're going to be both TV or channel and streaming service.
But so Jeff Goldblum it's not like cheaply produced. It's
No.
got
Some money was
It's in a
spent.
slick package.
Yeah.
It's almost as if like Disney is not run by people. It's run by like a computer algorithm
just an AI,
that like
yeah.
digs through tweet and Reddits and all of that stuff.
Everyone's into Jeff
and it's like,
Goldblum.
okay, everyone likes Jeff Goldblum. Everyone likes Star Wars. Okay, how can we package then a series about Jeff Goldblum and Star Wars? And it's just this weird kind of soulless, boring nothing.
It is almost like Jeff Goldblum got like hijacked by a computer.
Quit picking holes in your socks.
I need those Disney Plus socks.
Disney Plus, where's your why don't you buy Patagonia so we can give Jackson some more
Please.
Patagonia socks?
Don't fucking threaten Disney with a good time to own fucking Fratagonia.
Yeah, it's like The World According to Jeff Goldblum, which is like, the more I say it, I hate that title.
You will want to talk about the show really bad.
Well, because I was like kind of disturbed that it was so bad and so boring, and there was no overall point. It never felt like Jeff Goldblum had like a passion for anything that he was talking about.
Well, a giant
Wow.
chunk of that was obviously a paid sponsorship with Adidas.
Right. Then there's large segments of it's like 35 plus minutes, and there's like 20 minutes where he's in an Adidas research thing. And at first I was like,
It has a weird vibe to it.
oh cool, it's gonna be like how are shoes like studied and how do people like study these athletes and how do they optimize, and then it just becomes a commercial. It's like a long YouTube ad, and it's like, but this is content that they're pushing. It's not just like hidden in the bag. This is like one of the first things that was on there when you go on the Disney app page. Not that there's a lot on there right now, but still, it just felt, it's kind of sickening and a little scary. And then Jeff Goldblum, didn't care. He's just wowing his way through it.
Wow.
Oh, I see.
Wow, I see.
Adonis.
It was Jeff Goldblum at his most Jeff Goldblum. But what it also was aggressively boring.
Offensively boring, some
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, I mean, whatever kind of adjective you want to put before that, it was boring. And I will go ahead and use this as a segue into the other thing
It would be an
that we
advert
watched,
if you were doing that, but that's fine.
which is the fucking Mandalorian, which I would also describe as aggressively
As an amazing
boring.
Oh,
We must differ on this.
an amazing start to a series, you mean?
Josh, would you care to give us your general impressions
One of the most
Mandalorian?
perfect pilots. No. I was groaning 12 minutes into the episode, so I thought it was very bad. And it, you kind of, we're pretty obviously cynical about Disney and the whole streaming platform, but so we're going into a thing like, it's going to be bad. Star Wars doesn't know how to, like, whoever's running Star Wars. Jackie Kennedy?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Jackie Kennedy. She's
dead.
back. She's alive. Anyways, they're running it. They have this 500 team of people working on diversity and trying to create white actors speaking different languages and alien actors speaking English. And they have all these different bullshit objectives for their shows, and then they get lost and they don't have a story. We knew that going into this. But still, I was kind of surprised that this is like what they're pushing and this is like their debut. And I was honestly like disturbed by how boring and uninteresting and flat and like dark. It was like just not dark tonally, just dark visually. I could not see a lot of things, and it felt like it was going for this broody, moody kind of tone.
I'd fucking welcome a darker tone in a Star Wars
Well,
thing.
the opening,
I'd welcome
maybe.
a different tone in general from Star Wars. Look, this thing was written by Jon Favreau, he's not a Scorsese, he's not a Kubrick, he's not like a film genius,
Right.
but the dude has made some good stuff. And this
Man.
is as Iron Man, sure. That this is fucking as bland as it is just baffling.
It's also produced by Dave Filoni,
Who
who wrote most of Star Wars Rebels, the animated series, which was
Oh, okay. I've heard good things about that one.
which is good, and it was immediately followed up by Star Wars Clone Wars, which was canceled.
But people love that, right? It's
They're
so
actually-
revered.
I think they're going to come out with a new season of that for Disney Plus.
Oh, really? I would be concerned because that's like a perfect show. But Clone Wars, he worked on it. He didn't do much but write, and he acted in some of it. But then they gave him like writing like duties for Rebels, and there's a lot of people that worked on Clone Wars that worked on Rebels. And so like there was like some cohesion. You felt like there was like a kind of just they're just doing a different storyline. And so I thought Dave Filoni, I didn't know that until after I watched it, that he did all this stuff. I didn't know that was him. But you would think that knowing that, he would have some sort of consciousness about what it means to create a Star Wars story outside of the direct source material.
And the only explanation for that is that like it has been hamstrung by many different producers and executives and etc. There's actually a picture that's circulating around the internet right now of Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas all sitting in like consecutive chairs on the set of The Mandalorian. And George Lucas just looks so fucking bored while he's sitting there. He had like his hand behind his ear, like the kind of pose that you would make when you like are trying to hide a yawn, like from like, like. Yeah, or like you're still in the womb right now, like tugging on your ear, just ready to go night night.
Just he was so excited to get off of the Lucas estate, like just
Yes.
to be invited to something.
And they showed up there, and he was like, "Oh,
I just picture them like he's like swimming in his vault of gold coins, like Scrooge McDuck, and he like comes up for air with little goggles on and like, "Hey George, we're gonna do the Mandalorian. You want
We need
in?"
you on set.
what's a Mandalorian? Oh, it's the race that Boba Fett's from. Who's Boba Fett?
George Shelley, remember Boba Fett? He's the most iconic Star Wars character.
I don't think I remember. Yeah.
I guess I'll do it.
Oh, Star Wars. That's right. I know that.
The white slavers.
Well, you said Scrooge McDuck. I thought Smaug, but that's fine. We have our
Oh,
differences.
okay. Fair enough. So
I'm actually surprised that Disney is incorporating him in this.
I think it's like it would be kind of a mistake for them to not. If he was interested in being involved with it, like why wouldn't you welcome that kind of participation? Because Kathleen Kennedy has made a fucking mess of the Star Wars franchise
she
at this
duded
point.
her diaper.
She duded her diaper, and George Lucas is here with the A&D and the wipes to just like gently clean that bottom and put the diaper back on.
Lucasfilm is absolutely struggling, gasping for an identity.
Yes.
At this point. And
yes.
So yeah, that makes sense.
And maybe they thought that this was the answer to that like the Mandalorian was going to reinvigorate the excitement for the franchise after The Last Jedi. I fucked it.
I think it would be
didn't
hard.
see The Last Jedi. What are you talking about?
It's
I've
going to be
heard
hard for
about
them
it.
to find an identity in like a streaming service episode based, franchise, which is kind of obvious in this, where it's just like there's not. It's nothing.
But you look at it. So we like go back to the Boba Fett is arguably beyond the main cast like the most iconic character in the Star Wars universe, right?
As Jackson said, he's got a little bit of a bad streak in him.
He's a little bit of a bad boy. But that helmet, right? And like the suit and
Which
everything.
is a classic Star Wars archetype. Han Solo, Boba Fett, where it's just like, okay, like if you took Boba Fett, which is like a bad boy, and kind of like gave him like, oh, is he, he lives by some sort of a code.
Yes. That's enigmatic,
You give
right?
him some morality issues. You make him struggle with that throughout the season, and he kind of comes into his own. But then the show doesn't do that. It doesn't set anything up for that.
So obviously they can't make like they know that they can't make a Han Solo spinoff after Solo.
I do that.
And they, you're right. They can't do like a Luke Skywalker spinoff. They can't do any of that, but they can do a Boba Fett thing.
Well, they have the Obi-Wan Kenobi spinoff coming down the pipes.
That's right. That's right.
Actually, Obi-Wan is going to be on The Mandalorian, I believe, isn't he?
It's a dedicated.
Ewan McGregor's
series. Is it?
Ewan McGregor's in something that is currently going on.
It's the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. He was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Was he?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Well, he is once again the only hope.
Once again, we will speak countless times about how great and wise, honestly, Disney Plus is about their content and the way that they have set up the new Star Wars universe, the post-Jedi universe. Really just riding off into the sunset in tremendous fashion.
I don't know. Watching this thing, I just feel like Disney has realized the limitations of the Star Wars license, and everyone that they've enlisted is just bored with it.
Well,
and they're like trying weird, strange things to do, but it just doesn't work.
They're not trying weird, strange things.
Okay.
They're being very safe and careful.
well, so I think this is my kind of behind the scenes prediction for
Okay.
Lucasfilms is
All
that
right.
they're already planning Kathleen Kennedy's departure,
Okay.
and so they stripped down her schedule and are putting out the end of this trilogy as well as this series, and then setting up the next Obi-Wan series, and then they will announce her departure, not her firing, at some point, and then
She's
restructure
moving on to
from
Amazon.
there.
I think that that's probably a valid prediction.
Because it's too scandalous to just fire her right after a failure like Solo. But I think that's unforgivable in Disney's eyes, where you took their prized franchise, their new
multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Give it to
billion.
Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she kind of fumbled the bag. And so they're already like,
Fumbled the bag.
they're ready to restructure.
Fumbled my
I think.
bag.
I
we're not
love
sexist.
women and respect them. I respect the women. Respect the women.
You were talking about Netflix being afraid of backlash, or being afraid of kind of having some sort of massive influence viewing their content negatively. It also feels like they're Star Wars or Marvel or Disney, they're catering towards this huge backlash of like nerds who are the 12 million subscribers who are getting on Disney Plus only for The Mandalorian. If they somehow don't like it, or if they think that it's taking a creative turn that they don't agree with, they're going to react in a way that Disney somehow calculates as like negative for them. And so they cater and they do these, and they predict what people are going to like, and then they fuck up and they keep fucking up. And that's I feel like the main core of what is wrong with Star Wars. Not necessarily that they can't get they're like limited. Everyone makes the argument that the world is limited, and I think that's kind of weird. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the people that they use to create that are too concerned with if they're including enough stuff to keep. It's too like market conscious, I guess.
To piggyback on what you're saying, the Star Wars fan base is all but impossible to please. Like beyond the.
Maybe it's possible, but people don't really try anything.
Duckface over here wants to disagree with me,
because I would say there's a like the base level of Star Wars fan bases are all too easy to please, but I think expanding out of that is hard to do because there's the people who cry on camera when they see the new Star Wars trailer, and openly weep when they see just really base level plot advancements
in their vacation hotel.
Go ahead and roll the shit right here so people know what we're talking about.
What? No! The Emperor! This is Skywalker! Oh! Yes! Oh my god! How do they make this more and more epic every time? How do they make this more and more epic every time? I mean...
But I think if you want to blow that into a worldwide success where you have, China, jumping on, you have the greater American audience jumping on, you have to figure out how to, make this franchise work. Which they haven't done yet.
You bring up an important China.
Oh, yeah.
China is the market that everyone is trying to please right now. South Park famously has had kind of a social commentary, whatever you want to call it, as far as China is concerned. They had a couple episodes that are dedicated to the fact that everyone is just like trying to suck China off right now because their market, just by sheer numbers, by sheer force of population, they can make or break a movie's box office, a movie's profit margin. And so therefore there are so many companies who are unwilling.
I want my
Companies. Too many companies.
Too many companies
Who are unwilling to take any kind of risks that could put them at odds with the Chinese market, but more specifically with the Chinese government.
It's a bottom dollar, bottom line kind of thing, because Disney's a whatever billion-dollar company. They're a conglomerate. They own all these different media outlets, and they own ESPN, the fucking worldwide leader in sports. Like, sports is a huge moneymaker, and they don't have to worry about that at all. That's running itself. And yet they don't let these little things like Disney Plus's bullshit Mandalorian have any sort of creative expressionism. Because they think it's gonna reboot the whole series, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Why not let that be the creative thing, and then do the mainstream shit, and then have these like things come together to build it up?
Or as Jackson pointed out, like Mandalorian, the last episode of the season airs 2 days after, or something like that, after they release.
The
what
Rise
is it
of
called?
Skywalker.
That's it.
That's it.
So
this is all very calculated. They're releasing this to build up that hype
Surface
for
level calculation that they've gone through.
to build up hype for the Rise of Skywalker, to do whatever they can to kind of repair the bad will that has resulted from The Last Jedi and Solo, and try and kind of like reinvigorate this fan base to love Star Wars again.
How many people are looking at this series unfavorably?
Well, I was actually, you say The
Not
Last
many.
Jedi. I wonder if Disney sees The Last Jedi as like a failure, because it did well at the box office. Sure, you have like a very vocal outcry that didn't like it, but maybe they like that controversy. You have hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos, like
people watching it.
Yeah, talking about it. All this chatter. People.
We're
are
creating content for them by talking about this.
from one standpoint,
any publicity is good publicity.
Yes.
However, I think the fact that they canceled Rian Johnson's planned Star Wars trilogy, I think that's reflective of the fact that they did not have
There's
a
a
lot of
limit
faith
on how much
in-
controversy you want to bring in.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I might have extracted myself away from the general buzz of Star Wars after The Last Jedi came out, but I don't remember too many people saying anything. Like Game of Thrones, that season. I remember just like I thought the world was going to explode. Like because of how many people were so upset by the way it was turning out.
Oh man!
But then I don't remember Star Wars being that kind of way, and it could have just been that I didn't care about it too much.
It was definitely out there. Like the Twitter, like there was just like an active debate like between like people who.
That's Twitter. People on Twitter will
So
debate
there's
about
Twitter, and then there's well, I mean, like
foreskin versus
yes, you're right.
circumcision.
But it's also
which
an
is the
easy way to
opposite.
check the pulse because it's very out there. And so if you dig further, it's like you get a lot of like YouTube review videos that were just like this ruins Star Wars, this movie.
Yeah.
Like
But they said that about the 1, 2, 3, and then they just kept making more and more stuff. It never died. It never ended. They're just gonna keep going up or failing up or whatever.
There wasn't a YouTube when they did 1, 2, 3 though.
YouTube came out right after 2005, 2006. That was when the last Star Wars came out. 2004 or 2005.
It would have been like
But still, they had
the first days of
they
YouTube,
had
of course, yeah.
all the front loading. They had all the merchandise. They had TV shows. They had books. They had everything that you could think of that accounted for YouTube. People were still consuming it, and then YouTube came along, and then they had all. They still are going to keep doing it. I don't think this next movie is going to do any sort of negative damage to the franchise.
It'll
probably be a solid 80 on Metacritic, and it'll make fucking millions and billions of dollars.
I
at
think
box
there's
office,
I
and-
think Disney has their thumbs on critics. I think it'll be in the 90s.
90s.
Sure, yeah, I can see that. Like a 91. A
There's
solid
some-
91.
there's something going on.
Ripping, brilliant conclusion to an already incredible trilogy. Star Wars: Rise of the Skywalker fulfills all fan
Let's go.
expectations.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Is that not what it's called?
The
It is Rise of
Skywalker.
this is Rise of the
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Oh my fucking.
Rise of the Skywalker? Or...
Isn't that what you've been saying
What's
this
it
whole
called?
time?
It's
Right.
called Rise of the Skywalker.
It's called Rise of the Skywalker.
Is it Rise of the
I
Skywalker
got
or
that
Rise
from
of
you.
I
Rise
got that
of
from
Skywalker?
you.
It's one of the two. It's still Rise of and then Skywalker.
What have you been saying?
What have
Rise
you been
of
saying?
Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. It's got to be Rise of the.
It's got to be Rise of the
Rise
Skywalker.
of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
What's the difference?
The Rise of
The
Skywalker.
Rise of
Rise of the
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
There was a the in there, folks. There was a
I don't
the
know.
in there.
You could probably rewind to me
so-
saying Rise of the
Rewind to me saying
Skywalker.
Rise of the
I wouldn't be
Skywalker.
surprised.
Who gives a shit?
Both
Who
of those
gives a
titles
shit?
I guess
suck.
maybe we should talk.
I guess maybe we should talk about this
No,
this
I don't want to talk about
show.
There's
at
nothing
some
to say
point.
about it. It's boring.
It's boring. Pedro
It's boring.
Nothing
Pedro
happens.
Pascal
Uh,
hides behind a
sorry,
helmet the whole
Baby
Pedro
Yoda.
Pascal, more like he's not even there, Pascal.
Yo, no spoiler warning. Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby
Fuck
Yoda
you, Baby
at the end of
Yoda.
it.
With big old fucking
With
like,
big old
walnut
fucking like
eyes.
walnut
And you're like,
eyes.
staring up.
Just
Maybe it's
staring
not
up.
like
Maybe
you know
it's
like
not
a,
like,
a
you know,
Force
like
Yoda, and then the
Force Yoda,
basket's
and then
floating. So yeah, there's a
basket's
Force
floating,
Yoda
so
in there.
yeah.
Wait, so
Right.
wait,
We've got
Right.
Taika
Taika Waititi wasted. We've got Nick Nolte wasted in this. They're all hiding behind like
They're just in a room.
CGI and weird practical effects. Like this is so
No character
misguided
development.
and just about no character.
plot.
Like it's just misguided in literally every aspect. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I think at one point I said, "Can you imagine being excited by this?" And enjoying this, because there are people out there who
You did
will
say that
be.
when they were when they started writing my ex-wife's dons or whatever.
The ex-wife horse.
Yeah, the ex-wife horse that looks like a
Yeah.
giant
Just a fish
frog
with
with
a-
arms that is bouncing around, and they're going around these huge like desert plain or whatever. And you're like, can you imagine being excited by this?
And like his supposedly like breakthrough character moment when he tames
When he
the
tames
ex-wife,
it,
and I felt nothing.
It was yeah, and then the music swelling and the sunsets like kind of blinding the camera.
The whole part about him like
finding some weird bar of something, and then it's made into like a shoulder.
Oh,
By
yeah,
the
that's
end of
right.
it, like by the end of it, is he just going to be this weird like stainless steel Boba Fett? That was literally something ripped out of a video game where you have a fetch quest where you go and you get this thing and then you bring it back and they make you a new piece of armor that increases your defense by 54 points, your accuracy by 13%, and your charisma by 2 points, so that you can get slightly better options in the dialogue moving forward. Like it's a joke.
It's a fucking joke.
It's a fucking
Do you
joke.
think he has to take the armor off when he goes poo poo pee pee?
You got me. You got me.
You have my attention
You
again.
have my attention
Does he just go poo
again.
poo pee pee in there?
Well, so they have poopy
Well,
pee-pee
so they
jokes
have poopy
in
pee pee
the
jokes
do.
in the fucking
They got-
show with the blue guy,
who's like
Patton Oswalt with like a
I was
blue
like that.
fish face.
I was for a second. I was like, "Is that Patton Oswalt?"
Yeah, who was like,
Yeah, who was like, I have to go relieve my thorax in the doodle
I haven't
hole
gone
real
poo poo
quick.
pee pee since I shed my skin at the poo poo pee pee festival.
Needless to say, I'm
full of poo poo and pee pee.
I'm full of both poo-poo and the pee-pee.
And then he goes down the stairs in the stupid ship, and there is just like a toilet.
It's like an
plain
outhouse,
view.
like on the bottom
Yeah,
of the thing.
there's
High-tech
no
ass
door. Like
It's
this cutting edge high tech ship, and yet the
You know what would be
toilet
funny
is
if they
open.
they had
for
an intern
everyone
go in
to
there with just
observe.
like chocolate syrup and just like spray
Gonna squirt
with
it
a
out.
paintbrush.
like the
It's better if
like
you go
Boba
like,
Fett
like
just
that.
went down there and just spread his cheeks and just
That would have been way more character development than
Just
we've
pulled
had.
up the armor flap.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie, I like
You
the
kind
show.
of like
I like this
you like the
I
poo
like
poo
this
pee
version
pee.
of the
Okay,
show.
so the show is like it goes through a bunch of different things. It's like has all these problems. Who is it? If it's is it trying to get other people to watch it that don't already care about Star Wars?
No.
Because that was my question.
No.
Was like, how? Imagine if you had no idea what Star Wars was. Imagine if Star Wars didn't exist, and then you watch this
And that's a
pilot.
great
You're like, what the
question.
fuck? Who cares about anything?
If this didn't have the Star
Wars name attached to it, it wouldn't even have been picked
Right.
up.
Of course
You wouldn't have seen it.
But
No.
it's just so bizarre.
Because it was
basic,
basic, bare bones. But again, you had this pedigree behind it. You have John
wrote
Favreau,
it.
who's done good things. He wrote it. The guy, the director, I had no idea.
Dave Filoni.
who he was.
No, Dave Filoni didn't direct.
No, Dave Filoni didn't direct it.
He just
They just produced.
He just,
well, he didn't just produce it.
He just
ran
executive
he ran the
produced
whole
it
show.
along with
John Favreau.
with John
Yeah.
Favreau.
So it's
and
probably
George
just John
Lucas.
Favreau running it.
So this is weird, man.
So this is weird, man. I mean, we're in a weird place right now. This is so bad, but yet it's getting like decent
That's
reviews.
that's the part that's
94%.
weird to me. Yeah, it's like it's in close to 90s on Rotten Tomato, and I think it's tomato.
It's like 2
you
days in,
say
too. It's
Tomato,
usually-
I said tomato.
After like the first day, it like drops 10% if it needs to.
There's some fishy shit going
So
on
I'm
here
pretty fucking
with
fissy
the
right now.
tomato score.
Jackson's taking
Completely
several bars of
agree.
Xanax.
I've-
He's blacking out.
Yeah, he has.
I'm ready for the poo pee pee Star Wars story. Dude, some more poo poo pee pee jokes in this show. I'm up there with the critics. High
I
90s.
think
Two
we can
more
conclude.
well-placed poo-poo pee-pee jokes.
Give me some well-placed chocolate syrup.
We wouldn't even
and-
talk shit about. I mean, I'm not talking shit about Disney Plus. I think they're
Like,
doing
what
a
if
great
he was
job.
like he was training the space horse and just farted?
Why didn't they do that?
Why not? Why wasn't there
Like,
that
you have
easy
like a
for
little
Jim?
Might as
like
well.
sentimental moment.
Like, yeah, like the.
And then Nick,
And then Nick Nolte's like,
He's like, it
It's a
has
beautiful-
spoken.
It has spoken. That's like, hey, this guy.
Give
Pick
me
him
a
up.
set.
yeah, Disney Plus,
Disney fart. Disney shit and piss everywhere.
Disney.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, that's this show is gonna be horrible. I wonder what they do. Maybe they sneak a little thing for Obi-Wan Kenobi to tease the next series. Whatever. It's just gonna be sad. It's gonna. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really care anyways. But
I mean, my standing policy with a lot of things like this is like, if you're gonna spend $120 million on a new series, like, give it to somebody with a creative vision. There's no vision here. It's just like a husk of like, we had to make a Star Wars story.
Remember Boba Fett?
Remember Boba Fett? Remember how cool his suit of armor was?
That reminds
Oh,
me.
that reminds me. The only highlight of this show for me was Werner Herzog talking to Boba Fett. You must never listen to this Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, there's a grizzly bear.
oh, look behind
My
me.
ex-wife is on the planet.
Humans love to talk about their penises. It is funny if it is big. It is funny if it is small.
They hold up things to
They hold up things to their crotch. I'm Mr. So-and-so penis. It never failed to get
Those
a
who get that
laugh.
reference get to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, just cut the shit out, Josh. Just
It
cut
was
that
funny.
shit out.
Maybe put in the
Because it was funny. Maybe put in the clip. I don't know.
there you are.
Oh, there you are.
Wow, I think we've probably run way over time for what this deserves.
Way over time for this shit. Jackson, would you recommend The Mandalorian?
Absolutely fucking not. Without at least 2 more poo-poo pee-pee jokes.
Okay, Joshua, would you
Okay,
recommend
Joshua, would you recommend The
Yeah, he was
Mandalorian?
good. We got a lot of promising work ahead of us. It's just the first episode. The first episodes are never good. That's why they're the first episode.
Maybe second episode he's just stuck at a lighthouse for the whole time.
Maybe the second episode.
What if he spills his beans?
I think the second episode will be an interrogation episode, but it's gonna be like there's a light shining through a window, and he's like losing his mind. He's like in this room, and in the end of the episode, we find out that he's been having a light shined into his eyeball, into his little window, and it's like, whoa, he's stuck somewhere. We gotta find out what happens in episode 3. How he gets out of the situation. How did he get in this situation? He's being interrogated. That's gonna be episode 2. Look forward to that on Disney Plus.
Way too fucking imaginative.
Addison, would you recommend
Addison, would you recommend this show? No,
Addison, would you
absolutely
recommend this
not.
I think here's the
the crucial question.
Jackson, would you recommend
Jackson, would you recommend Disney Plus?
Ooh.
Based off of what I've seen with their like kind of like what, how would you say, like their
Shows.
their content they're throwing out there is like, this is why you should buy Disney Plus.
It's the first
Absolutely
impressions.
not. Absolutely not. You have the Mandalorian and Jeff Goldblum. The both
Lady and the Tramp.
extremely boring. I haven't seen Lady and the
I
Tramp.
forget live
That's
action Lady
probably
and the Tramp.
where all the
Absolutely.
great content's at, though.
What about you?
No. Disney
No.
Plus.
At any
Disney
price.
Plus is
At $6.99.
at $6.99. Even I find it to be a hard recommendation right now for me. It's mostly a dumpster fire. I have nothing on there besides The Simpsons that
How
I
about
want to
you
watch.
pay me $6.99
Guess what?
to watch this?
God,
about it, Disney.
bitch.
Think about it, Disney.
What about an
Think
what
about
about
it.
an Inside Out spinoff where it's outside in, where it's all these germs trying to attack a body?
See, I do love
Inside Out. Inside Out is
But it's
actually
mostly-
a great
mostly
movie,
Pixar.
and it's on Disney Plus.
A lot of the Pixar stuff that's on there
is like the recent shit, not even like the classic
Well, Pixar is just a
Pixar.
good sister studio. Josh,
would you recommend?
Josh, would you recommend Disney
no,
Plus?
I wouldn't recommend any streaming service besides NBA League Pass.
For,
And
You just
Oh, you fuck! You talked for like 15 minutes about how League
Well,
Pass ain't all that.
The problem is, Adam Silver, the commissioner, has been actively against all the
China stuff.
China stuff about
He's
the-
surprisingly quiet about
not standing with Hong Kong.
No,
Stand with Hong
Jesus
Kong.
good thing
We're not doing that.
We're gonna,
Hong Kong.
Stand with
Our
Hong
great-
Kong.
we're gonna get YouTube banned.
What'd you say?
Stand with Hong Kong.
Stand with Hong Kong.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Here we go.
Here we go.
That's why I like.